up, guys? Thursday, we're at Cactus Music World Headquarters. Time for the drop. I'm Ruben Dominguez. It's Quinn Bishop. And of course, there's a list.
Always got a list. Got a list. This week's list, great list. And if I can just say great list.
Just frame it right now. Let's go. What do you got?
All right, let's kick it off. You know, tonight we have a great event. We're part of the worldwide listening party for Fall Out Boy. So a lot of the new super popular artists, they're going to this thing where if they can keep the record under wraps,
right,
they will do these listening events the week before. And it only works if you got a great record. If you don't have such a great record,
this might not be the avenue for you.
You don't want to do it. But so we're going to announce a couple more of these. We did one for the Gorillas. We did one for
yeah, you've done a few now.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift, didn't you? Wasn't the one for Taylor?
Did, no. Well, I'm spacing. Fans can help me out there. But I mean, we did one for the Gorillas. For Paramore. Oh,
for Paramore. Yeah. That's right.
So it's
and you said you got a lot of people for that.
Oh, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And actually, the Gorillas too. And I think we're going to have a lot of folks here today for Fall Out Boy.
5 p.m.
So 5 p.m. It's the first time people get to hear the whole. There's singles out there, but this is the first time you get to hear.
What does it cost
album.
to attend an event like this?
It'd be zero, my friend. You can have a complimentary St. Arnold beverage if
you're
of an age. And we have free posters while they last to the first people that show up. We also have some slip mats.
What time is it? I'm just doing the math. If I could just sit in this chair for that long, what time is it? Yeah, I just have to put my leg up, and that'd be great.
And you can pre-order the
4.5 hours.
So
Easy.
You can guarantee that you get the Indie Store exclusive. The big deal is that show is like pretty close to sold out, and we have a couple of pairs of tickets we're going to give away. So
it just keeps getting better.
I know it gets better and better.
What's it cost to get into the raffle?
Oh, nothing. In Texas, you can't. You
can't do that.
You can't do it.
Did not know that.
You can't make it. Entering a contest contingent upon purchase.
Right. So if you're thinking of moving to the state or moving out of the state, take that little
there's
that little nugget with you.
So you got that. But anyways, it's going to be great. Look for more of these coming in. 8-time. It is 8th album, multi-platinum band, and they have they celebrate the 20th anniversary of their debut album in May. So
I love it.
All the timings lined up.
I think it's all original members too. Still.
Yeah, I think so. And here's artwork from the new record. We can't show you the record because it's not here yet, but pretty cool. It reminds me of the cookie.
Oh yeah, I get them at Three Brothers every year when I go to the black and white.
Yeah, the black and white cookie.
Why not?
Why not? Okay.
Here, put that somewhere where it doesn't get wrinkled.
Rankled. It's rankled in Texas, man.
Yeah, excellent.
Okay, next up, and let's talk about. We have an in-store performance this next Monday. It's one of the spillovers from South by. Great artists coming through Houston. New West recording artist Sunny War. Her album easy for me to say.
Anarchist Gospel.
Very, very cool record. This mixes a bunch of different things. It's roots music, it's blues, it's gospel, soul, and then it's also got a very improvisational kind of experimental side to it. She's an amazing guitar player. This record's really making a lot of waves, and we're excited to have her here next Monday, 5 p.m. That's Monday, 3/20. And she's really an artist to watch. So, and she's playing at the Big Top that night.
Oh,
you can go see her that night
nice.
On Monday night. Yeah, we're excited about this. We have an indie exclusive LP. And what is
it? Says colored vinyl. Doesn't say what it is. It just says color exclusive. Also, if you were wondering, featuring Dave Rawlings, Jim James, Allison Russell, and Mika Nelson.
Yeah, it's a cool
NPR
record.
Called it thrilling.
So be here for that. Complimentary beverages, and as always,
love it.
Free.
Love it.
Free. Okay, let's talk new records.
Go.
So this is a big one that came out on Friday, but we didn't have it yet, so we couldn't talk about it. The new Miley Cyrus record, man. This thing is getting a lot of headlines. Again, it's her 8th album.
Yeah.
A lot of 8th albums out here today we're talking about.
Cannot turn the record on without hearing Flowers right now.
Right. I think a great song. Great breakup song. Really great song. Follow up to her that Plastic Hearts record, which was a really, really big record. I feel like a lot of people kind of written her off as more of like just pop star fluff, but this has some weight to it.
She could be my favorite female pop vocalist of the past 10 years.
Yeah, she's got a good gritty.
But she can do everything. She can do everything.
Yeah, she's super talented.
Yeah, and what's cool with her is I don't know if it's an attitude thing, kind of a swagger thing, but she can kind of dip her toe into different genres and not you know, oh, sell out, or oh,
Yeah.
you know, or for all of her fans turn their back on her, or like shade getting thrown her way, right?
It's tricky.
She's able to really
ask anybody out there making records. It's hard to do.
It's hard to do. Yeah, I can't explain it, but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. All right. Next up, M83 has a new record this Friday, and man, this cover is freaking me out.
I don't want to look at the cover because it's freaking me out, but
it's called Fantasy. I don't know whose fantasy that is, but that is not mine. Hate the cover, but I like the music. So, you know, French band by way of LA,
yeah, Transplants,
and this is their first record in 7 years. The single's Ocean's Niagara. I like these guys. At times it breaks down into, it sounds like Kraftwerk or something.
Yeah.
Very synthy, but and for me, I don't know about you, I'm a guitar guy. I'm very discerning in my what I pull in that's synth related.
Yeah,
and I like them.
Yeah, and there's you know quite a bit of guitar on here actually.
There
it's
is,
subtle,
yeah, there is.
But it's you know, it's like they really you've got these beautiful kind of synth washes, right? And then there's just perfectly timed little hooks.
Yeah, I would agree. It's very hooky. They got good songs.
And they're not in a hurry to be anywhere.
No.
You know, and I love that. It's comforting at times.
Yeah, very loyal fan base, and it's been a long
2005 was the first worldwide release of their first independently recorded album.
So we'll see what this
so they've been doing it for a while, but everything I heard on there I like.
Nice. Yeah, I liked it too. Indie store exclusive colored vinyl.
Nice.
The always well-dressed Van Morrison.
Yes,
you think he and Elvis Costello shop in the same shops these days?
Maybe the roommates, they just share their own clothes.
Quality hat.
Yeah.
So this is Moving on Skiffle. This is Van Morrison has done an album prior to this. It's probably been 20 years. That was a tribute to Skiffle. You know,
very popular form of music in the UK in the 50s.
In the 50s in the UK,
right,
it was
before
all
rock
about
and roll.
Before rock and roll. It was all about Skiffle. So you had all these songs like Rock Island Line or whatever. You know, Lonnie Donegan. You know, top of the charts, all this kind of stuff. So I think that caused.
Go ahead.
Rock and roll to even like kick in even harder over there because they were already like Skiffle warmed them up and then rock and roll put it over. But so this is his tribute to that and the songs that he heard as a
was it
young man.
John Lennon or Paul McCartney? They were in before the Beatles. There was a little skiffle band.
Well, it was the three of them without the drummer, the Quarrymen.
Right, the Quarrymen.
Yeah.
Right. I knew there was a skiffle in there, but
there's some skiffle numbers. In fact, their first original that Paul will play on occasion that is kind of a skiffly kind of tune. Sold a lot of guitars in the UK around the skiffle movement.
Yeah,
sure. More classic rock for you. This is the Stones Archives are doing these live records.
Yeah, I'm very interested
radio
about
broadcasts
this.
and stuff. So this is
super interested in this.
This is for their golden anniversary in 2012. They played obviously a bunch of shows. They're a touring monster, and this is recorded December 15th in New York, New Jersey. And I mean, just read the guests on that. This is an epic night for the Stones.
So of course, Bruce Springsteen hops on stage for Tumbling Dice, right? Lady Gaga for Gimme Shelter. Gary Clark Jr. and John Mayer.
Yeah.
On I'm Going Down.
They didn't have enough guitarists.
No, they didn't have enough guitarists. Yeah. Who Do You Love? The Black Keys guesting on that. Mick Taylor. Nice.
And I think that marks the first time that he reunites with the band. They had Bad Blood.
That. Yes.
Apparently, they had a little bit of a disagreement after they just stopped mailing Mick Taylor checks for his contribution to the group. Whoops. The Office. Call the Office.
That will sour.
So, and that's also has a video, Blu-ray or DVD with it, and it's on CD as well. All the stuff we're talking about is on CD as well. Next up, we were talking about these guys earlier. 100 Gex.
Yep.
The album 10,000 Gex. This is Laura Les and Dylan Brady. I would describe it as chaotic, experimental, dancey, hard rock. They call it hyperpop. People, if you're not familiar with that. That's been a recent one for me too.
I was listening and jotting down notes because this was the first real listen I've given them. I'm sure I've probably heard them and not known it was them. So I had here, from quiet whispering moments to aggressive, distorted, modern screams of discontent. It was the one particular song I was listening to. And then one song I had a very, very, kind of deja vu of some like Dionford. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Everybody says Diantword, but I believe it's Dionford.
I think you're correct.
Yeah. Anyway, which I kind of love, and they freak me out at the same time.
Yeah.
But there were moments in there. I like what they're doing, and we talked about Death Grips for a second.
Yeah, I think there's some of that going on.
Right
there.
when that metallic kind of happens.
It's
very
heavy at times. I mean,
grippy.
it's electronic, but
Yeah.
don't let me think it's like some,
If
quirky
you want a
keyboard
little
thing.
something
It's
a little
heavy.
different for the record collection, grab that one.
It's different, and
Yeah.
I do like the single. I'm not really. It's not really been my thing to this point, but I thought the single was like, oh, people will like that.
Okay.
So there you go.
Come get it.
Back in the reunion category, Black Crowes recently got back together, though I'm kind of at odds with this. I don't know if you can call it a reunion when you pretty much get rid of the rest of the band and just the two brothers or the band, but that's what they're doing. You get Chris on one side and Rich on the other. Shake Your Moneymaker Live. This is marking the 30th anniversary of
The release of the album.
And huge record, right?
Yeah.
Huge record.
So I'm guessing this is probably from the most current tour.
It is. So you get the album on one disc, them doing the entire record. Then you get a bunch of cool covers on disc 2. I think tunes that it's some greatest hits in there too. They do
For sure. Yeah,
rock and roll.
There's some stuff in there.
Always a powerhouse live band. I mean, I always thought they were terrific live. We had Rich here at the store for an in-store, and Chris shops here when he's in town.
I love that.
Yeah, I like it.
Very cool.
I like it.
Great band.
You can see rock stars at Cactus. They will wander in, not just Ruben. They will make the scene. Okay, Unknown Moral Orchestra. This is their 5th album, appropriately called
5
V or 5,
Yes.
however you want to go with that. Hawaii, New Zealand artist. This is, to me, I don't know what you think about it. To me, it's very 70s inspired.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yacht rock.
There's
AM
some moments
radio.
where it's
It's groovy. This
Yeah.
is going to be a summer record.
Remember
for
the
a lot
movie
of people.
FM?
Yeah.
It's like something was making me on this that I was listening to was making me think of something on that soundtrack album. I can't remember what, but it was putting me in that headspace.
Probably Pablo Cruz or
Exactly.
Blair or
Yeah,
something like that.
man.
So
Yeah.
the trajectory of this band has really been, I mean, every record has sold more than the previous one, and
Yeah.
this could really bust it wide open for them. I mean, they sell really well and have a very loyal fan base.
Embossed.
Oh, it is embossed.
It's embossed.
It's like embossed. I hear a lot of Tame Impala in there too.
Yep.
There's a lot of that going on. So it's like this California cool, breezy.
Yep.
70s AM pop with your kind of almost more psychedelic, but it's cool music. I'm spending some more time with the album. I'm sure we'll be playing it a lot in the store.
Yeah.
Something worth checking out. And I think also an artist, if you're an older record buyer, this might resonate with you.
So what does that mean?
Gatefold. So gatefold means
Well, I know that, but it says
2 LP.
2 LP gatefold includes download. Okay, I got
There
it.
you go.
Got it.
Get a download
Thank
of
you. I
that
need
one,
to
too.
know.
No, you got it.
I need to know what those letters are.
Okay, and this is a record that was available digitally in November. Sometimes it takes a while because all the hip hoppers, they want to drop the music as soon as it's ready,
Mhm.
make a splash, and then it takes a little while for the physical goods to catch up. So the CD is finally out. This is the collaboration with Drake and 21 Savage, Her Loss. This is a huge record when they dropped it in November.
Absolutely.
So Drake, Canada,
Mhm.
21 Savage, Atlanta.
Mhm.
Get a real
Multi-continental collab.
But check this out. This is the one thing I'll say this that you will probably not hear me say about any other hip hop record this year.
Yeah,
Only one guest appearance on here.
that's incredible.
Guess who it is?
Who?
Travis Scott.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
So I believe either yesterday or day before, Drake announces the tour. 21 Savage is coming out in support.
Sweet. I
So,
bet
The
you're
collab.
going to see them on stage.
Sure, the
Same
collab. The
time
collab
doing
goes on
some
the
of
road.
this.
That
Yeah.
collab is going on the road.
Man, that show is going to
That's going to be a tour.
big.
It's
Yeah.
going to be a
It's
tour.
going to be big. Okay, the very popular reissue
It's
portion of our program.
time
We're
for
doing
reissue.
it. We're doing it.
It's reissues.
So Cake has been putting out their albums on vinyl for
a while
in some
now.
cases
Yep.
the first time in a row. And this is their third record, Prolonging the Magic. This followed the departure of their guitar player, which I think
It changed the band.
It changed the band. In fact,
Yeah, we were talking about a certain drummer leaving a band. More on that later.
when this was released, I do remember it's like, how are they gonna do that? Because that guy's a whack guitar player.
Very specific sound.
Very specific sound.
Yeah.
I think for the most part they did it. This was a big record. It was a cool record.
Yeah, he's got his own vibe. He's close.
Yeah. This is 1998.
Yeah.
This, that is like peak of no vinyl, just CD and cassette.
Mm-hmm.
And so
this is a
record's
rare
back.
bird.
Yeah.
So if you're not familiar with it, it opens with "Satan is my motor." What a great name for a song, and the fact that they fitted into this really, really cleverly crafted pop song. It's very Cake, but it's really go.
And I think I could totally be wrong, but I think for mass merchants, your Walmart, your Best Buys or whatever, I'm almost certain they rebranded the record.
Right.
It's just my
There's
motor.
no track listing. There's no track listing on the back.
They left Satan conveniently out of
Dude,
out of the
Sheep
run.
Go to Heaven, Hem of Your Garment. That's such a good song.
Very cool band. Very cool band. And I'll tell you
I've
what,
seen
man,
them a couple of times.
we have several staffers that love Cake, and you throw one of those records on in the mix while people are shopping,
Yeah.
and man, people are just like,
You can't help yourself.
it's groovy.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. From the upbeat to the downbeat, this is Daniel Johnston's Songs of Pain. This is the first time this has ever appeared on LP.
Yeah.
This is one of the original, this was his very first, when he would make his own cassettes.
Recordings, yeah.
Yeah, and he would buy like Avery labels and like glue them to, pieces of paper, glue them to the outside of and they wouldn't even be in a Norelco cassette box that you would remember. They would be in like these milky clear, like clamshell type boxes.
Right.
And he would just sell them on the drag in Austin. And some of his finest songs are there. Obviously, an acquired taste, I think, based on voice and we'll say unique guitar skills. Not for everybody, but man, bunch of great songs. This guy, whenever somebody covers one of his songs, it's always a treat.
Yeah, the first time I ever heard of this guy, was, of course, like decades ago, he was just this enigmatic, this recluse that only the hippest of hip had ever heard a good chunk of his music. It's like there was I spent years of only knowing the legend before hearing the music.
Yeah,
That makes
absolutely.
sense.
Yeah, and he college radio staple, and we did multiple in-stores and events with him over the years, signings. He published books of his comic books, but give it up for Houston, man. Speeding Motorcycle. Stage play based on his songs out of Houston, and Catastrophic put that on.
Nice.
And really, I
cool.
think really helped erase his profile.
All right.
We're going to keep it dark here with another band, Scottish band. I like these guys a lot. Frightened Rabbit.
I don't know him.
Scott, it's basically one main guy, Scott Hutchison. This is the fourth album and kind of revered as like one of their great records. It's 10th anniversary of that record. Very cool band, loyal fans. Very dark, mental health issues plagued the artist throughout his career. He unfortunately disappeared and was found deceased. But his work has been out of print for quite a while and is now coming back. It's great. Atlantic is doing a good job of this. The CD and the LP contains bonus discs with 11 additional songs and,
cool.
and a 24-page expanded book.
Super cool.
If you like your, and it's straight, I mean, it's rocking.
Yeah.
Its lyrics are a little
Morbid.
I mean, just from personal experience, hard living type stuff.
Yeah,
but worth
morbid,
checking out. He's a great writer, great singer, and sadly no longer with us. But check him out. Frightened Rabbit.
10th anniversary too. If you're a fan, come get it.
And this is probably next one. This is probably one of the most important reissues we will talk about all year. And just let you know how business could screw up music. And I don't even have an LP to show you because we sold out of all the LPs. They're coming back. We will have them hopefully back in the next week. But
Big
De La
record.
Soul,
Big
3
record.
Feet High and Rising.
Good Lord.
You know, this music has not been available for streaming or in packaged goods
Right.
in forever because of their lawsuit with the label Tommy Boy and their, you know, Tommy Boy's neglect in keeping it real as far as paying their royalties for samples and all that. Really,
So it's just tied up in lawsuits.
It just
and,
made it a mess.
Yeah.
And then when they came out for streaming, you know, they announced that it was going to be available, and then the band was like, "We're getting 10% of this. The label's keeping 90%." And so they went live. They did this great, and I made a note of the quote because I love the quote, and that's it. The message that they said was, "Don't feed the vultures, support and respect the culture." And it was about paying the artists.
right.
And so these are finally available again. But, you know, there's, for me, I mean, when this record came out, this was the most innovative sampling I had heard
Yeah.
by anybody.
Yeah.
And I think it still is kind of the high water benchmark for that. I had a friend who called it when it came out. It's like, dude, this is like the Sgt. Pepper of rap. And I think that is totally, it's like this just blast of positivity.
Yeah.
When a lot of the hip hop was really, you know,
It was moving in different directions at that time.
This is, I mean, it's so influential in the whole peace rap thing. And, And but sadly, you know, Trugoy the Dove band member passes like 10 days after this music's made available again. It just kind of sucks all the way around. But
That was very recent.
yeah, great records that you need to hear. There's 6 albums that are getting reissued. And really the high water benchmark for artistry.
So I went to see that tour, but they opened and they were on a big bill. They were early in the set, and
They used to stack those bills, man. You're gonna see like
and we
five artists.
missed them because it was the first concert I'd ever been to. We couldn't figure out why the lines were so long. They were metal detectors,
Oh man.
and we could not figure out what was going on. We were like, man, we gotta get in there. And yep, sure enough, missed the entire set that they did. All right.
All right.
Will we
Now
continue?
we're talking about some more reissues. Record Store Day Essentials. We're gonna talk about this one. Actually comes up next week.
That's actually an essential.
It is an essential. I mean, if you're a rock fan, you don't own this record, man. This is the 50th anniversary edition on gold vinyl of Iggy and the Stooges, Raw Power. And you know, when I was a young record buyer, I got to tell you, the pictures on the back of this thing genuinely like freaked me out. I'm like, what is going on there? And they're just pictures of what it was, him rocking out.
Just doing his thing, man.
And it is truth in advertising, Raw Power. And really, this record defines a cult record. It is so just out there, and it's kind of a, you know, if you run into somebody that talks about this record, you get a kindred spirit. But everybody should hear it because it is one of the most influential records that ever.
You know, I mean, everybody knows obviously Iggy, but you know, to the Stooges, you know, equally responsible for crafting that sound.
Yeah, and
James Williamson on guitars, Ron Ashton on bass and vocals, and his brother Scott Ashton on drums. Yeah, and this was another one of those records. This was like there was this like legend around it, like this cult. There was this mythology, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like,
and it's you know, troubled story too to get to release. You know, it's their third record. It's like make or break. They leave. They go to Columbia. The record gets rejected. And Bowie has to come and mix the record to put his name on it to sell records. You know, just
so it's the 50th anniversary, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a good chance that Iggy is on stage tonight somewhere.
I hope I get seen.
I just saw something on Instagram. I think he played last night somewhere. Somebody posted something. So
I would believe it.
Yeah.
I would believe it. Next up in the RSD Essentials. So these are Record Store Day branded records that you can, that have not been available and are now available. This one's on Milky Clear Vinyl. The Offspring Smash. And
that sold a bunch of copies.
Sold a bunch of copies. Big track. That come out to play.
Yep.
Third album, huge record, really kind of broke. I mean, they were buzzing on. They were doing pretty well before then, but that record really kicked in and made it big. And you can find all of these RSD essential releases only at independent record stores, which that's a good thing for me.
Yes, sir. Come on now.
Okay.
Your local radio.
Let's talk about archival releases.
Yes.
And these are records where the music has not really been available before in one form or another. And this is Mariah Carey, The Rarities.
Really
So
cool.
you got 2 LPs from her Columbia recording years. Or is it 4 LPs? It looks like 4 LPs. Let's get a sticker on. Oh yeah, 4 LPs. That says it on the sticker. So you can
Plus live material.
plus live material. So I think most pop music fans know these records like the back of their hand. It's always great when there's additional stuff to hear that you can by one of your favorite artists. So if you're a fan, this is in the source. And all her,
I love the picture of her in the back.
Yeah,
that's a great photo.
All her, classic LP sell like crazy on vinyl because again, that was cassette, CD era. There were really no records. I think a couple of them came out on LP.
Yeah,
but
I mean, if she was on vinyl, it would be for some like club DJ stuff.
Yeah, and mostly
stuff.
12 inches.
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
And that kind of catches all that
Yep.
along with some unreleased stuff. And I don't know why, but this is not an archival release. This should be in the reissues.
But it does not matter.
It doesn't matter.
We're going to talk about it.
Anyway.
Hell yeah.
This is Queensryche. This
Yep.
is their Empire album. Maybe their biggest selling record, even though probably the most highly regarded is Operation Mindcrime. This is on the audiophile label Friday Music. They licensed it, usually do colored vinyl, a great mastering job. And this album has a bunch of hits on it, right? This is
Jet City Woman.
Yeah, and of course, Silent Lucidity for the metal fans, girlfriends out there to dig on that. But a huge record for this band, available again on vinyl for the first time in a long time, colored vinyl.
Vocalist Jeff Tate in fine form.
Oh yeah,
that guy could just strip paint with his voice.
He could.
All
right, so you know what it's time for?
What time? What's happening? Is it time for the vinyl vault? And whose turn is it this week?
It would be yours.
It is my turn this week. And I told we were talking about it just before we started the show that I was nervous because it was my turn and Quinn's picks have been so good. Like deserving of the vinyl vault, and like really
your contemplation for great results, because this is
tell everybody,
a must-have record.
Tell everybody what it is.
We have Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Hard Promises.
So 4th album for the band, and their stock had been rising steadily leading up to this point. But I think this is the tour where they were doing like arenas.
Yeah, this is at that. Yeah, they made the jump from mid-sized theaters to
opening on bills, and
arenas,
yeah. So it's a cool record. You were saying something very interesting that one of the things that maybe kept it from being this big smash was like there really wasn't that. You did the singles.
Right. And the first single's like Bulletproof. The Waiting, probably one of his greatest singles ever. But second single, Woman in Love, what happens there? Stop Dragging My Heart Around's competing with it on the charts, and that ends up being the big hit.
Right.
Not Woman in Love, which is the second single here. And then the third single kind of stalls that Letting You Go song. But
over on the MTV,
that was
Woman in Love was all over the place. So I had to write some stuff down because I didn't want to forget about it. And I had to look some stuff up. So they hire this guy to shoot the video. And it was one of the first videos that made it to MTV that was kind of this film noir. It was all black and white. Oh, yeah. So cinematographer Daniel Pearl, they hired him for this. They rent out this warehouse. They decide to do these kind of smoke machine light stream kind of shots where it looks very very, very eerie and stuff while they're doing it. And 2 years later, the police did a black and white video in the very same warehouse with Daniel Pearl that was Every Breath You Take.
Oh, no way. That is kooky trivia. That's good. I did not know that.
How about that? Yeah. So so Petty, what year is this? 80?
It's 81, which
81.
then was a great year. You look at 80, a lot of great
stuff was coming up. So is he... Not so much this album, but maybe Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, especially their early days, was that a brick in the wall for what we call Americana today?
Absolutely, because he always had that. But this record, I mean, I think about the the first record and the second record is being kind of more supercharged. Like they're almost as punk as they are
Yeah.
rock, and there's some quiet moments there. Obviously, some birds jangle, but this record kind of, you hear the acoustic guitars more, you hear the 12-string more, and sometimes the drums are kind of laying back a little bit.
The great Stan Lynch.
The great Stan Lynch. We were like geeking out about what an amazing player he was earlier, and I think that's absolutely true. And so he kind of chases that direction even more. There's still rocking tracks on it from here on out, but it becomes less of like a straight ahead rock thing. Which, damn the Torpedoes, that's pretty much, you have a country flavor tune, but it's rocking like all the way through.
Yep.
That's not
pedal to the metal.
That's not what this did. I will tell you always, I love this record since I was a kid, but it is such a great thing that he's just shopping,
just hanging in a record store, support your local mom and pop record.
And I tried to, so I saw.
Were you trying to figure out what's on the record?
What store?
Oh, what store it was?
But so there's the photographer that took this photo.
Yeah.
If you the photo that's not cropped, I think it's in a Latin music record. So it's like it wouldn't say Texas, it would be Tejana, but obviously it's in California.
Yeah.
But if you look like up here,
they were somewhere in East LA.
There's
just kind of walked in there.
There's a lot of Hispanic.
There's some guys. Yeah, there's some piñatas hanging in the corner, or whatever. Yeah, but this is the classic lineup. Oh, does it say it on here? On some of this album, Duck Dunn's actually lends some bass. The Great Stax rhythm section bassist.
And that's one of those things where like, oh, please play on my record.
Yeah.
And that's where your bass player is going to be like, oh, that's cool. Let's get Duck Dunn on here.
If you've never seen the documentary, it's like 2.5 hours, 3 hours long, right? That big.
I think there's
a
4-hour volume.
There's a huge one, but my favorite part is
it's Peter Bogdanovich film, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
But there's one chapter of it that they spend a lot of time with Ben Montench, and you get to learn. I didn't know he couldn't tell his parents he was in this band. Because he was a classically trained, and he was going to have a career as like a classically trained pianist. That's his parents were investing the time and money, and he was a bit of a prodigy.
Sure,
but he could not tell them that he was playing, like Hammond B3 organ in a rock band. And he almost quit the band. I think he almost quit the band a couple of times.
That's right. It all worked out.
God, man, it's amazing. Anyway, there you go. That's the vinyl vault.
And some other things to note. The other things that this was the record where he fought Universal, or at that time MCA.
Oh yeah.
Because they wanted to make it 998, as with the most recent Steely Dan record, and he's like, nope, I'll just call the album 898 if you do it. And one last thing, so John Lennon died while they were
making
this record.
I've never seen the insert to this because hang on, I bought it on cassette.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
when it came out,
cassette era. So if you look in the Dead Wax here, because this is a first pressing.
Tell everybody what the Dead Wax is.
The Dead
Get
Wax
ready to learn
is
stuff,
the
kids.
little script in on the inside after the music plays on one side of the record.
And it always looks like it has that hand etched.
It is, because they're hand etching it on the master, and it says "We love you, JL" right there.
What is that?
Just right there, it says "We love you, JL."
Right.
And because John Lennon was murdered during the.
You're not going to be able to see that, but it's in that dark rim right. What do you call the middle part? The paper in the middle. What do you call that?
I call it a label.
Well, who were you telling me was one of the first artists to have their own imprint?
Oh, custom. I don't remember.
Custom imprint. We talked about it, and you pulled it out, and we were like, "Look, that didn't happen." But here's another one. Because usually we just say like RCA or Arista or whatever.
That was his lawsuit over his publishing. He got his own label, Backstreet Records.
God, but I've never seen this.
I'm going to give you some record store intel that you're not going to hear elsewhere.
Go.
Even though it is not in my best interest, you do not want to buy new pressings of this record. You want to find an original, because all of the master tapes were burned in that Universal fire at Universal Studios, where they stored all their master tapes in the middle of an amusement park. All of Tom Petty's master tapes for MCA burned up. So
jeez,
they're all the vinyls mastered from a CD or a digital transfer. You want one of these from back.
What do you see in this picture? What's he playing?
Is it an Ibanez?
It's an Iceman. I've never seen him holding that guitar.
Somebody snapped.
Okay, probably every last viewer just jumped off of this.
All right, get out of here.
These guys are out of their damn minds. All right, guys, that wraps it up. So next week, Vinyl Vault tilts to my colleague here, who is going to bring out another one that's just going to fill me with envy when he
Oh, it's gonna be good.
when he pulls
It's
it
gonna
out
be
of
good.
I already know what mine's going to be though, because I know what the following week will be.
Oh, sweet.
So that is the drop. Hit the share button. Tell people to watch this thing so we can keep our jobs and the checks.
We don't want to get canceled.
We want the checks to keep clearing. We're out of here. I'm Ruben. That's Quinn. Peace. See you later.
You got a check?
No, I didn't mean.